Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Happy Friday, everybody. TGIF. This is Josh with K4CO Radio. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for all the listeners, and hopefully, you're rocking out a little bit. Well, we're pausing, but we also have some live music in the K4CO studio. I'm sitting here with our Vice President, Sarah. How's it going?
Hi, it's going wonderful.
Wonderful.
Happy Friday, everyone. Happy
right.
June. We're less than a month away from 4th of July, and summer is upon us. For all of us here in Colorado, it is definitely warm. Be ready. It's 96 degrees on Wednesday, I believe. That is what they're predicting. So stay hydrated.
Way too hot. Exactly.
It's a little warm.
But if you don't have anything going on, this Saturday we're going to be at Centennial Center Park.
Yes,
We're
we
going to be
are.
broadcasting on Saturday. They're celebrating a little, 25-year anniversary of the city. So
It is very cool. It's a big year for America. It's a big year for Colorado, and it's a
Exactly.
big year for Centennial. So it goes 250 years old for the United States, 150 years old for Colorado, and 25 years for Centennial. So it's a big bash tomorrow if you want to come join us in Centennial.
That's right, and it's always a big year for vet stock, and we'll get into that soon. If you are listening on K4CO Radio's app, or the K4CORadio.com, or all the many internet radio directories that we're on, do know that you can switch over to the K4CO Radio social media platforms. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, all of that fun stuff. You can see our smiling faces right here. And if you do have any questions, comments, anything like that, go ahead and throw those in, or just message the app through, or the station through the app, and our producers will kind of let us know, and we can try to cover those. Sarah, who do we have in the amazing K4CO studio today?
Well, I want to start by saying thank you to everyone that has served for our country, that is currently serving, that knows someone. I thank you for your service. I come from a long line of family members and relatives that have served, and my hat's off to every single one of you. And so this one is always near and dear to my heart when I have anyone veteran related in with us. So if you are a veteran, if you know someone who has served or who is serving, please let us know. Always reach out. We have amazing resources for you.
That's right.
And we have the incredible team, or part of the incredible team, of the Warrior Bonfire Program with us. For more information, you can go to warriorbonfireprogram.org. And we have the amazing Bob Fontenot, who's the Director of Entertainment, and Mike Foss, who's the President of the Warrior Bonfire Program. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey,
And you brought in a
great to be
singer.
here.
I like this.
Yes,
We have
we did.
Mr. Todd Wilson, who's here joining us as well.
Hey, it's
You'll-
good to be with you.
Thank you for coming and performing live. So for all that can jump over safely onto the social media platforms, please do so. It's your own little personal concert that you get to watch, which is very cool. We always get front and center to amazing musicians. And Todd, we'll get to you here in a moment because you're going to be performing at Vetstock this year,
I will be, yes.
which is a great event and coming up soon. So stay tuned. Keep listening for more info on that. So, Bob, let's start with you.
Yes.
For those that haven't heard of the Warrior Bonfire Program, give us kind of an overview of who you help and who you serve.
Well, and I'll let Mike go into like a little more detail about how it got started and everything. But Warrior Bonfire Program realizes that we have a lot of veterans who need our help and who are in like a tough situation. And the best way to help them is to put them together and let them talk about their problems with each other, because they won't talk about it with anybody else. And that's just kind of the kernel of what Warrior Bonfire does, is it almost creates a unit with these guys. And it was started in Mississippi by Dan Fordyce, who served, and I'll let Mike tell you, kind of how it started and how it evolved.
Well, first of all, Bob brought up Dan Fordyce, and I would be remiss if I didn't say that Dan was our founder. We lost him a few weeks ago in a plane accident. And so this year's Vetstock is going to be somewhat a tribute to our founder and friend Dan Fordyce. But in just short little how we got started, Dan just wanted to take a few guys deer hunting, few wounded veterans deer hunting. That's all he wanted to do. And Dan, being who Dan was, he calls Walter Reed, BAMC, Balboa, all these big military hospitals, and they're like, "Who the hell are you? Go away! Don't call again." And so Dan said, "Well, maybe I ought to start a nonprofit organization to get somebody to listen to me." And so he did that. And in that process, he came across a combat wounded veteran, a Purple Heart recipient, a guy named Chuck Williams. And Chuck told Dan, he goes, "I could spend all day with the counselor and not get the therapeutic value of hanging out with 5 or 6 guys that had been there." And so after that first night, Dan and his brother Hunter are up talking after everybody else had gone to sleep. He goes, "There's a hell of a lot here going on here, more than just deer hunting. Guys are opening up with each other, sharing with each other, helping guide each other." And then he came up with this bonfire thing, which is a U.S. flag retirement ceremony, where instead of going through the ceremony and burning the flag at the end like normally done, he did the ceremony, an old Boy Scout ceremony, and he prepared the flag in stripes, red, white, and blue, and gave everybody a red one, a white one, and a blue one, to honor a fallen comrade. And the next morning, there was a lot of tears, and that was a tough thing, and it still is today. But Dan asked the guys, "Did I go too far?" And they're like, no, this is exactly what we need. Mm-hmm. So in making it shorter, that's what we do. We do retreats around the country, bonfire retreats around the country.
How many have we done now?
I think we just finished 261.
261.
I think that might be it.
With six guys
Yeah.
basically in each one. So you look at that number, and that's a lot of guys for a small organization to
Right.
help.
And when did it start?
2013. January of 2013 was that deer hunt.
Okay.
February of 2013 was a ski trip up in Grand County.
Okay.
And so what we do is we take Purple Heart recipients, 5, 6, 7 at a time, typically 6, on outdoor focused retreats around the country. Skiing, fishing, hunting, surfing, golfing, you name it, we've done it, or we are getting ready to do it. But the idea behind that, there's healing in the great outdoors. There just is.
Absolutely.
There's healing walking around the parking lot when you're having a crappy day in the office. That's recreational therapy. But what we're truly trying to do is build greater support communities for these guys, foster their healing, and improve and save in their lives. We still have a huge problem with veteran suicide, and those outdoor recreational things are there to attract them. I'm not going to walk up to Todd and say, "Hey, you want to go on a healing, life-improving retreat over the weekend?" And you know what he's going to say, right? I'm not signing up for that.
But if you say, "Let's go snowmobiling,"
right, exactly. And we do 3 formal things every time. And formal's not the right word. I don't really know what the right word is. But one thing is everybody tells their story. Okay, and those stories can sometimes be heart-wrenching. They can sometimes be uplifting. Just whatever that guy's story is.
Right.
And I say guy, male, female, just guy is, I don't like the word gal. It sounds stupid to me. but you know, and then the other thing is we talk about how we cope with things, and how we're growing as individuals. And then the last thing is the bonfire, honoring those that we've lost. That bonfire is the most emotional thing I've ever
witnessed,
been
I'm
through,
sure.
witnessed. I've probably been on 65 to 70 bonfire retreats.
Wow.
And it's very emotional. It's also very flippin' healing.
Yep.
Okay, because guys are saying goodbye to people that they might not have had a chance to say goodbye to. They're saying goodbye to people that they hold survivor's guilt from, and they're realizing I got to continue going on from that guy. And then the really cool thing is how many of these Purple Hearts volunteer for our organization. They say they want to help, and they do.
And helping others helps them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it just warms your heart when you see all these guys that you're serving, and they volunteer to come back and serve you.
Right.
And then it just amazing.
What are the many different ways that these veterans do volunteer? I mean, I take it as guides on these excursions.
Exactly. Almost every, we call them leaders, almost every bonfire retreat is led by a Purple Heart recipient who's trained. We have a couple Purple Hearts that contact and talk to everybody that registers with us. We have a program where every single Purple Heart in our database gets a call once a quarter. Now they're
check in and see how they're doing.
Check in, see how they're doing. Exactly, and those calls, most of those callers are members of my Rotary Club in Highlands Ranch, the Rotary Club of Highlands Ranch. That's where most of them, but a lot of them are some of our Purple Hearts, just calling people and checking in on them.
Yeah.
And hey, most of the time everything's good. Most of the time you're just leaving a voicemail. But I'll just tell you one story that happened about a year ago. There was a guy in San Antonio, Purple Heart recipient, who was pretty disabled. And he was moving from one apartment to another apartment. I think it was an apartment, might have been a house, I don't know. But anyway, he's moving. And his son was there helping him. And his son broke his ankle in the move. And this guy's, I gotta be out of this place today and in this house tomorrow. How am I gonna do this? I can't do it. My kid's ankle's broken. And our caller just happened to call. A guy from Highlands Ranch just happened to call at that moment, and heard the story. And he called me, and I called another guy I know down in San Antonio, and that guy called the moving company. And I wish I knew the name of them. I don't know. But they said, we will have a truck over there and movers, and we will move that guy.
Wow.
And that story tells you a lot. Not only that we have good volunteers, but there are good people out across this country that want to help our veterans.
I agree.
And a lot of people don't know that, but there are people all over this country. And I could tell you story after story, but everybody'd fall asleep.
Well, it's amazing the power of it. It sometimes feels so small and simple, but the power of just calling someone or checking in on a friend, a text message, just saying, "Hey, thinking of you," can
Show you care.
Exactly. We all kind of want that connection. Had another question. For those that have received and been a Purple Heart recipient, is there a way that spouses or families can also get involved with this program too?
We do spouses retreats. They mirror the Purple Heart receipts. I mean, from tell your story, coping activities, bonfire. The only thing is different is the spouses like different activities than most of the guys do. Not always, but
Less
but
shooting, probably.
yeah, you know. But we just did a bonfire spouses retreat in Santa Fe, and then we do couples retreats as well.
Awesome.
The divorce rate in this country is high. It's even higher amongst veterans, and it's even higher amongst wounded veterans.
Right.
So we do couples retreats as well.
Yeah, it's really amazing what the spouses have to go through with somebody who's come far enough down that they end up in this program, because I mean these are people who've basically been identified as at risk for suicide, and it's
Right.
if you're I don't even know how you would deal with that if that was your spouse, you know.
Yeah.
So it's good to help them as well.
Well, thank you all. For those just jumping on, we have Mike and Bob here talking about the Warrior Bonfire Program. And you can go to warriorbonfireprogram.org for more information. And you can also call to talk to anyone or to find out more information, 601-994-3266. And I wanted to pivot, if we can, over to Todd, so we can have a song real quick. We're going to get into Vetstock, which is an amazing 3-day event that's coming up here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, to raise funds and awareness for the Warrior Bonfire Program. And Todd, you're going to be performing there 2 days.
I'm honored to be asked back. You know, this will be my 5th year doing it.
That's wonderful. Yeah. What brought you the very first time? What got you connected?
Well, the first year I was out of town, and it's at a bar in Centennial at the time that I frequented and hated to miss it, but kind of went back in for the last part of it, which is where they do this bonfire ceremony. And, you know, there's not a dry eye in the house, and I had to fight back tears just listening to Mike just now.
Right.
But it's an amazing thing to participate in. And not only you get to meet some of these guys, the staff of Warrior Bonfire Program, but the vets that show up, and then you get to witness this bonfire thing, and it's quite moving.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm honored and privileged to lend my support to it in whatever way I can.
Well, we appreciate it, of course. So you can find out more about Vetstock. You can go to warriorbonfireprogram.org. So Vetstock this year is Friday through Sunday, June 12th through the 14th, and an amazing lineup of not only Colorado musicians. Hazel Miller and the Collective is a headliner again this year. And I love looking down this list. We have Boudreaux and Wade Sutton amongst many others we're so lucky to have them in our rotation. So thank you for celebrating Colorado musicians and local community. Well, which song would you like to grace us with first?
So I think I'm going to do this original. It doesn't seem quite appropriate after fighting tears back, but this is an original song called Red Stripe and Jerk, and it's just about a perfect day in the tropics.
Okay.
All right.
Take it away, Mr. Todd Wilson.
Let's go down to the beach bar for some red stripe and jerk. Let's go down to the beach bar for some red stripe and jerk. Take me down to the beach bar, babe. We can join the natives twerk. We'll dance in the sand to a reggae band. We're welcoming the tide. We'll dance in the sand to a reggae band while we're welcoming the tide. We'll lively up to the steel drum, babe, till the moon is shining bright. There'll be a melting pot of people singing rum punch and vodka tea. 3 little birds perched by the door, nobody worried about a thing. You might need a dirty monkey, hell it might even take one more. But please another red stripe to tame this spicy carnivore. We get home, gonna rub you down, light some candles too. We get home, gonna rub you down, get us in the mood. Gonna rub you down with coconut oil, slip and slide all over you. So let's get down to the beach bar for some Red Stripe and jerk. Let's get down to the beach bar, you know which one. Take me down to that beach bar, babe. I'm hungry for some Red Stripe and jerk.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I like the line about the monkey in there. That definitely brought a smile to my face. Man, that's one of the most original songs I think I've
Oh,
ever
yeah.
heard.
Every original is original.
That is so true. Well put.
And ladies and
man.
gentlemen,
That was no AI help right there.
Oh,
Not at all.
nice.
No AI help.
Awesome. Good for you.
And so you're going to be playing twice. You're going to be playing solo, and that's going to be Saturday at 7 p.m.
Yes.
Saturday, June 13th. And then you're going to be playing Sunday, and you have a ZZ Todd. I absolutely love
I
that.
have a ZZ Top cover band.
ZZ Top. Yeah.
Yeah,
ZZ Top cover band named ZZ Top.
Name
ZZ
ZZ Todd.
Todd.
Yeah.
Yes. 5 to 6 people, and it's really cool. You guys are only doing this for vet stock specifically. Correct?
Just for
Okay.
Bob. Just for Bob.
Oh,
and Mike.
man.
We'll do anything for
I
Bob.
swear I begged them.
We will do anything for
When
Bob.
you beg, begging goes a long way, believe me. I've done
I
that many
begged them
times.
to do it.
Nice. Well, definitely, if you guys are around. So again, this is Vet Stock to support the Warrior Bonfire program. It takes place June 12th through the 14th. So June 12th, it's 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So spend your Friday evening hanging out over it's at Max Taps in Highlands Ranch. It's County Line and University. You can't miss it. You can actually see it straight from County Line. And then Saturday, June 13th, it's an all-day awesome event, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I mean, truly, it's tons of acts. One that stands out to me is called Hip Replacements. I can't wait to hear them. So amazing. And then Sunday, to kick off the final day, June 14th, 1 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And on Sunday, the closing ceremony will end with actually the Warrior Bonfire ceremony, which I can't wait to be a part of it. Of course, we're going to be there and hopefully doing some interviews. And Howard, if you're listening, hope we get to see you. Just come down and meet Howard, and you'll know what I'm talking about. How old is this gentleman? 101,
Howard
102?
is 100. Well, no, he'll tell you he's 103 because he's already had the 102nd birthday.
Oh,
But
okay.
but Howard's World War II veteran. He served in the European theater. He is a character.
He's an amazing character,
He's
you
amazing.
know?
He's an amazing guy. He's a
Yeah.
philanthropic guy. He's a good friend, and he will be there Friday evening, the June 12th.
June 12th.
And just hold on to your wife.
There you go.
Or, you know, if you're a woman
he
and
feels
need
his
a...
oats.
And if
Yes.
he does show up Sunday and you put him on the radio, make sure you're on a 15-second delay.
Oh, I love it. Man, when we were there last year, truly had a 30-second warm-up, and we had just arrived, and we're doing this, and he's adorable, and can be a little flirtatious, and that's okay. You know, at 102, my hat's off to you, man.
You say a little flirtatious.
I
I'm just remembering my daughter and my daughter.
I know.
it's all right
All
to
right.
be jovial.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting down with Mike and Bob. Mike is the president, and Bob is the director of entertainment of the Warrior Bonfire Program. It's a nonprofit that provides free, activity-based, stress-free retreats to help enemy combat wounded Purple Heart veterans and their spouses heal, connect, and build supportive community on their journey recovery. And I I love what you guys do. I mean, we're really close with a lot of, veteran organizations. We've interviewed a lot of veteran organizations, but I really love, especially since we're radio in the music aspect of this. But just a few days ago, I met a gentleman, Nick. He is a veteran, and he works with a lot of veterans and everything. And he unfortunately came from a site where somebody did take his life, and he said that he has known 22 people in 8 years that he has known. So it is absolutely amazing, and I love what you guys are doing for Purple Heart recipients. It's just, it's very commendable. So thank you very much on that. The vet stock part of it, you guys do a lot of fundraising stuff like that, but how did vet stock come about? Like, how did that begin?
All right, I'm gonna try not to take up too much time with this, but this is year 6, and but it goes back further than that. It goes back now 10 years when Mike, who he and I had coached kids together in football, and and hadn't seen each other in a while, but I had just started a band with my wife and some friends of ours, and we were really just kind of getting going. And Mike had heard that we had a band, and he asked me if I'd meet him for lunch, and we had a conversation, and he asked if we would be interested in playing monthly at the VA hospital. So we would go down there once a month on Mondays, representing Warrior Bonfire Program, and play in the lobby at the VA hospital for the guys who are coming in, for appointments and stuff. And it was so cool because these are the guys who are having, the worst day of your week is the day you have to go to the hospital. There's just nothing really, really good about it. And these guys would be coming in, and, the demographic on a lot of that is these are older guys, the guys who are, getting the VA help, or, it's an older, poorer demographic. And, these are not necessarily the happiest people in the world. And, but they come walking in and they hear this music, and we're a classic rock cover band, so we're playing the stuff that they grew up listening to. And then all of a sudden, they're like the guys in the walkers, and you just see them, and they start kind of moving with their walkers and dancing. They stop and listen to the music a little bit, then they go on to their appointments.
See, but you had to play Glenn Miller for the Howards,
right? So we did that until COVID hit, and then you couldn't go to the hospital unless you had an appointment, and so the lobbies were closed and everything, so we couldn't play anymore. And so about a year later, Modern Brew, a music bar here in the Centennial community, was kind of struggling through COVID too, trying to get people. And I went to the owner there, and I pulled Mike in, and I was like, we should do a music festival. Just kind of, it'd be a good moneymaker for the bar, and a great moneymaker for Warrior Bonfire. And we gave it a shot and did the first one, like out in the parking lot behind Modern Brew, and it's a 2-day thing. And the second day it poured, so we had to move it inside. And of course, then we were a giant spreader during COVID. But
Don't say that, Bob.
Hey, we didn't lose anybody. But so we did the first one, and then we said, well, okay, we'll do it again, and now we're on year 6. So, and it's bigger than ever, and we have since moved over to Max Taps Highlands Ranch. Dave Gardner, the owner there, took us in when Modern Brew had temporarily closed, and we didn't know if it was going to reopen again. So we moved over to Max Taps, and this will be our second year doing it at Max Taps, and it's so much fun.
Great
this
venue.
year yeah, it really is. It's a good venue, and wait till you see the stage this year. We're going to have an actual built stage, full stage, and it's it's going to be really good.
Nice.
Very fun.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the coolest things about the whole thing, and hopefully I won't get choked up saying this, but it's community. It's our community that's doing this. The Centennial Highlands Ranch, it all started, in the neighborhood he lives in, Heritage Greens, and it's just a community of people just coming together, having a good time, and supporting a cause that they believe in.
And almost all the musical talent is donating their time. They're just the Sunday night headliners are getting paid, but everybody else is doing it because they want to do it. And I would say the majority of the people have done it at least 3 or 4 times. I know this will be Todd's 5th time playing with us, and Jack Hadley, who's playing the blues player, who's playing on Sunday, he's played. Oh, this will be his 6th. I mean, it really just, and everybody understands how important it is. It's just, this is an important cause, and it's also a lot of fun to just listen to music all day.
Well, exactly. Sit outside, have yourself a beer, listen to some great tunes. And Jack Hadley came in with you guys a while ago when you were throwing an event or helping throw an event at Pinna Street. Great blues guy.
Oh my gosh.
Great voice, great guitarist. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he'll be playing Sunday evening, right before Hazel Miller closes out the music acts right before the bonfire ceremony. So yeah, it's gonna be a big night. It'll be
Definitely.
fun.
Yeah, well, for the full list, definitely go to warriorbonfireprogram.org, and you can find more information on the vet stock. I mean, it is roughly 30 different performances. I'm just kind of eyeballing it.
Oh,
it's even more, probably more than that.
Yeah.
But
For our viewers, let's throw that flyer up there. That just kind of shows everybody. I mean, you probably, I think, have 10 or 12 people on Saturday. You have 4 great acts from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday, and then Sunday all day as well.
Yeah, there'll be 2 stages. There's a main stage out in the parking lot where the bands will play, and then in between the bands, while we're tearing down and setting up as quickly as we can, back in the back room, the acoustic acts will be playing, and the music will be piped out from the acoustic room out to the main stage area, so everybody gets to hear everything. But yeah, it's gonna be fun.
very
Yeah,
nice.
definitely. Once again, everybody, it's going to be coming up here soon. Friday, June 12th, Saturday the 13th, Sunday the 14th. Max Taps off of University and County Line. Just a great venue, good beer, and it looks like we're going to have some good weather. So
Looks like it.
looks
Can I do
like
something
it.
real quick?
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of great sponsors who are helping us. I'm going to read them so I don't miss anybody.
Sure.
Of course.
But we definitely want to thank El Paso Glass, Shure Microphones, Leanne T. Gunnell, Realtor, Highlands Ranch Rotary, DIA, Bot Wealth, Catchfire Marketing, Rocky Mountain Bottled Water, Green Cross Dispensary, Sean Donahoe, and the Fontenot family for sponsoring Vet Stock. And because we could not do it without them, and we appreciate it all.
It's so true. Every event, I mean, it takes so much prep, so much behind the work scenes that goes into every event. And definitely thank you to all the sponsors, volunteers, those who have served, families, musicians. And speaking of musicians, I know, Todd, you were going to sing at least one more song for us.
Sure.
I selfishly have the request of what's next, but, I'm not
Okay.
singing.
All right.
All right.
You tell
I
me.
kind of want to hear Walking in
Okay.
Memphis.
All right. You got it.
I want to hear your spin on this,
Okay.
which is pretty awesome.
Because it's a piano song, right? People know it as a piano song.
I am excited to hear it on the
That they
guitar.
do.
And for those just joining, so again, this is Todd Wilson. You can hear him live at Vet Stock, not only on Saturday, but Sunday as well. And if you want to follow him on YouTube or Instagram, it's Todd Wilsonic. And you can hear him performing live now, and go find him online. All right, take it away, Todd.
Put on my blue suede shoes and boarded the plane. Touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain. W.C. Handy, won't you look down over me? Yeah, I got a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Walking in Memphis, Walking with my feet 10 feet off a beat. Walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Saw the ghost of Elvis on Union Avenue. Followed him up to the gates of Graceland, and I watched him walk right through. Now security did not see it, they just hovered round his tomb. But there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king down in the jungle room. Walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off a beat. Walking in Memphis, but do I really feel the way I feel? They've got catfish on the table. They've got gospel in the air, yeah. Reverend Green, be glad to see you when you haven't got a prayer. Boy, you got a prayer in Memphis. Muriel plays piano every Friday at the Hollywood, and they brought me down to see her, and they asked me if I would do a little number, and I sang with all of my might. And she said, tell me, are you a Christian child? And I said, ma'am, I am tonight. Walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off a beat. Walking in Memphis, but do I really feel the way I feel? Walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off a beat. Walking in Memphis, but do I really feel the way I feel? Put on my blue suede shoes and boarded the plane. Touchdown in the land of the Delta Blue. In the middle of the pouring rain.
Colorado's own Todd Wilson right there. Walking in Memphis, a little Mark tune. Absolutely love it. You'll be able to see Todd Wilson 7 p.m. on Saturday, June 13th at Max Taps at the Vet Stock 2026, and Sunday with his band ZZ Todd. If you love ZZ Top, which I definitely do, you're going to want to see that. 2:30 on Sunday. Thank you very much. And
That was well done.
very well done.
Thank you.
That you blew it out of the water.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Nice.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I'm curious. So, Mike, for maybe spouses, veterans who might be hesitant to join something like this, especially like when it comes to what you guys do. I mean, what would you say to them, and what would they expect their first time going up and signing up for an event?
Well, the first thing I'd say is, what do you got to lose?
Yeah.
You know, you might get a ski trip out of it, or a hunting thing out of it, or I'm just trying to think of something else we do.
Yeah,
But you know,
Right.
got a thing at the lake in Minnesota, not Wisconsin, Minnesota. You know, but really, it's and you're there with 5 other guys that have been through what you've done, what you've been through.
Right.
And everybody is relaxed. Everybody is able to, you know, do what they, you know, go as far as you want.
And also to talk to people who have experienced similar things to what
Yeah.
you like. These guys aren't going to talk to you or I or
Right.
about anything that they saw. I mean, they literally like guys who served in World War II lived their whole lives and never told their spouses, their family, anything, half the stuff that they saw. I mean, they just don't talk about it.
My father-in-law had a wife and 7 kids. He was in World War II. Didn't tell them anything about it. The only person he told anything about what he had been through was me. My grandpa was in the same place as my father-in-law, but he didn't get a chance to talk to me. But you know, you just need people to talk to. There's ways for everyone in any condition. Okay. Any kind of things that have happened to us, there's always people you can talk to. You know, and we're talking about Purple Heart recipients, combat wounded veterans. Here, that's what we're talking about. That's who we serve. But you know, anybody that's been through, you know, your son too, right? Went through Arapahoe, right? You know, our kids went through
Their
the
kids
shooting
were at
Arapahoe.
school when the shooting happened at Arapahoe
You know,
High School, and it was
my son has never talked to me, my wife, his big brother, his big sister about that day. Who did he talk to? Classmates, teachers, coaches, people that were in that building.
Right.
You know, because they were the ones that they understood it.
Right.
You know, yeah, it was traumatic for me, my kid being there, but it was, I didn't go through it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Oh, I think that's very common.
Yeah.
You know, I have
Yeah.
a lot of my a lot of my family served, and after my
Yeah.
grandfather passed, he was career Marine Corps, and we knew nothing. And when we discovered all of his different medals, we were truly shocked because we didn't know. And there is that commonality of you understand because you've been there.
Yeah.
What I always say to people is, if they've been struggling with anything in life, give this gift to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you freaking deserve it to have that camaraderie in your life, no matter what that looks like. So yeah, get out of I'm telling myself this, sometimes get out of my own way and be with other people that understand what it's like. And truly just reaching out. I love that Warrior Bonfire, that you all do that you reach out to people and make those calls, and because you never know what people are going through in that moment. So
None of it. You know, what have we known each other, 25 years or something like that?
around there.
You know, we don't know each other's issues, problems, because we don't talk about them, right? You know, and guys, for the most part, are much less likely to open up than women are.
I would agree.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
men will open up with other men.
That's true.
Especially men that have been where they are. I mean, our founder and vice president, who unfortunately died a year ago. I mean, he talked to me a little bit about he was in Vietnam, very little bit, but he mainly talked with other veterans when it comes to it because they could understand it.
Right.
And going off of what Sarah said is that when he passed away, his son came up from Florida, and we were kind of going through his house, and that's where we did see all the medals and stuff that his son didn't even know. And then even at the ceremony at Fort Lupton, there were things that mentioned that his son didn't know either. So it's unfortunate that it is that way, but it's understandable.
It's completely understandable.
It is, and we just have to do whatever we can to help these guys.
And also
Make life better for them.
And also, in addition to just getting them outdoors and having them on the trip, there's also a fair amount of training as far as the actual counseling goes. I mean, these guys, you got your people go through, the
leaders.
the leaders go through a pretty big training process as far as like dealing with, because these guys are, I mean, they're coming out with some stuff that they probably have never told anybody, you know, and it can be pretty shocking. So, having that training in the on the counseling side is pretty important.
Right.
And I don't think we mentioned the most important thing about Vetstock is it is free.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the most important thing, but that's a good thing.
It is a free
I think it's
episode.
going to
Get out
be. I
there.
think that's
Free
important
event,
to a
yeah.
lot of people. It's a
Yeah.
free
It's
event.
free.
We will be. We do have a VIP area that you can buy into, and you get a couple of beers with that and some shade, and we'll do that. But and then we're hoping that people will see what Warrior Bonfire does, and if their hearts open up and they want to make a donation, that's great. But the festival itself is free, and we have kept it free for 6 years, and we're hoping that will continue. So
Yeah.
Right.
Come to the free event, Vetstock. It is June 12th through the 14th at Max Taps in Highlands Ranch, University and County Line. And man, this lineup is pretty amazing. And I wanted to, unless you had another question,
Go for it.
I wanted to see, before we sign off, then we'll go out with a song, your last song, if that's okay.
Sure.
6 years running. And where do you see this in maybe another year? But even projecting maybe a little bit farther, what is your hopes?
Red
And-
Rocks.
and
No,
Red
just
Rocks.
kidding.
I love it.
I love
You
it.
sound like every musician that sits there. That's
love it.
the
You know what? We
pie in the
have
sky.
grown every single year. We have grown with the number of bands.
Correct.
We have grown with the number of people show up. We have grown with the funds raised for the Warrior Bonfire program. Every year it has grown. Last year was by far the best, but every year it's grown, and I don't see why we would stop.
Right. Well,
Unless you and I are on
We
our
are- we
deathbeds,
are-
and then
we
our
are
sons
reaching
have
retirement
then our
age.
sons have to take over. And hopefully my kids have my daughter does, but my boys have no musical talent. I don't know if your boys have any musical talent.
they love music.
Yeah, I know they love music. I know
Their
that.
musical talent is
I mean,
being an
I love
audience.
But-
Being an
but-
audience is important.
But I don't see I don't see us stopping.
That's good. I'm
I
glad
really
that you.
don't see us stopping. And what do we do in the summer? There's two things we do in Colorado in the summer. We go to the mountains and we go for live free music outside.
So true.
So
There's
this
so
here's
many-
your
so many
opportunity
great
to
outdoor
get a
venues.
whole weekend of that live music outside.
Yes, I agree.
Not always free, but live
Not
music
always
outside.
free.
But
That's
this
correct.
one is free.
Yeah, this one's free.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one's really definitely awareness of exactly what you guys do. And you guys, how many states are you guys in? Warrior Bonfire?
We have had retreats in, I believe, 33 states and Puerto Rico.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing. And 160 or 260?
260.
260?
260.
That's incredible. And starting in 2013. You guys are getting after it. It's
Well,
good that you're
they
on
get
the
more,
trajectory.
kind of are able to do more every year, and the more money raised, the more guys you can reach, and that's it's so that's why we do this.
My ask for all of you listeners and viewers, go to warriorbonfireprogram.org. I don't know very many people that don't know someone who served. Find out more information about it. And Mike, you hit the nail on the head that it is community. I talk about community all the time, that it takes a village of supporters, of sponsors, volunteers, musicians, staff, the whole 9 yards goes into this. And come and support. And if you like live music, this is a great opportunity, and to help support people that fight and protect and serve. And I can't think of a more noble thing to do with your life. So please go to warriorbonfireprogram.org, 601-994-3266 if you want to call that phone number for more information that way. Again, Max Taps, June 12th through the 14th at which is in Highlands Ranch, County Line and University. And Todd will be performing there live. And again, if you want to check him out on YouTube or Instagram, you can go to Todd Wilsonic and stalk him on social media platforms. And you're going to take us out with Lover's Cross.
You know what? I'm
correct?
going to call an audible. It'll still be Jim Croce, but
Yeah, that's
just
Okay.
a little more on topic. I'm going to do Hey Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
we'll
that's
do
great.
Hey Tomorrow.
Sounds
Jim
great.
Croce too.
All right. Be right back.
Hey tomorrow, where are you going? Or do you have room for me? 'Cause the night is falling and the dawn is calling. Well, I'll have a new day if she'll have me. Hey tomorrow, I can't show you nothing. Well, you've seen it all pass by your door. So many times I said I've been changing and slipped into patterns of what's happened before. 'Cause I've been wasted and I've overtasted all the things that life gave to me. And I've been trusted, abused and busted. And I've been taken by those close to me. Hey tomorrow, well you gotta believe that. Well I'm through wasting what's left of me. 'Cause night is falling and the dawn is calling. Well, I'll have a new day if she'll have me. But I've been wasted and I've overtasted all the things that life gave to me. And I've been trusted, abused and busted. And I've been taken by those close to me. Hey tomorrow, where are you going? Where do you have room for me? 'Cause the night is falling and the dawn is calling. Well, I'll have a new day if she'll have me. Well, I'll have a new day if she'll have me.
Nicely done. I know. I love it. Man, we have the best seats in the entire house.
That we
get to
do.
have our own little personal concert. Again, that was Todd Wilson, and you can see him live at Vetstock. He'll be performing on Saturday, June 13th at 7 p.m., but the fun starts even earlier as well at 12 p.m. on June 13th, all the way to 8:30. And on Sunday, June 14th, 1 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And at the end of Sunday is the closing ceremony with the Warrior Bonfire program. But it all kicks off Friday, June 12th. In the evening, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., an amazing lineup. So check out the warriorbonfireprogram.org. Again, the phone number is 601-994-3266. Mike, Bob, it's always a pleasure to have you both in.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for all you guys do in the
Yes,
community
you guys-
too. Appreciate
yeah.
you.
Thank
course.
you. Of course. No, we love our community. It's why we do what we do.
And if by some chance, we do have listeners all over, and if by some chance you cannot make it, stream us on Sunday because K4CO Radio is going to be broadcasting live at the event. We're going to be talking with some wonderful people and maybe even broadcasting some of the music as well. So definitely check it out on K4CORadio.com or on the K4CO Radio mobile apps. Really looking forward to seeing you guys. It's going to be a great weekend, and you said that the last year was the best yet. I think this year's going to top it. I really hope so. Knock on wood right there.
Upward trajectory. That's
That's
what
right.
life is all about.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you again. And if you did just kind of catch the end of this, it is going to be on the K4CO Radio social media platforms for a little while. And the event is not this weekend, but the next weekend. So if you know a vet, if you know somebody who loves music, if you know somebody who just loves the cause and wants something to do, share this with them so that they know there's nothing better than a free music festival
I
in my
agree.
mind.
And
you
my
know?
gosh, there's like 30 or 40 people that are. I mean,
That
you
are
get to,
playing
that are
that,
playing. I mean,
yeah.
this is amazing. You'd be crazy to not go.
It's because
Come hang
people.
out with
It's
us.
because people care.
And people do
Exactly.
care completely.
That's why.
So true.
Exactly. And a lot of great artists that are already in the K4CO rotation. So check them out. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Do stay tuned. Of course, in a half hour, every single day from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., we have one solid hour of only Colorado musicians in the K4CO radio rotation. All the rest of the time, they make up 1/3 of the rotation. And then tonight, a very special Friday night episode of Kind of Vague Radio, hosted by Andrew Talon and Rob Dixon. If you like jam bands, local Colorado jam bands, this is going to be the episode that you want to watch tonight. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Kind of Vague Radio. And there's also a replay from 2 a.m. To 3 a.m.
And they get a little saucy.
They do get a little
So
saucy.
make sure maybe the youngsters are
Yes.
away from listening.
Yes, that's what happens when you run a station that doesn't censor Colorado
It's
music.
true. We're not regulated by
and
the
doesn't-
FCC, and you
Exactly.
can get a little spicy and
But,
saucy.
Yeah, we didn't want to censor. So, thanks again, everybody. Have an amazing weekend. Have a great Friday, and hopefully we will see you at Vetstock next weekend. You all take care. Have an amazing one.